Hello, welcome back again to Talk About Life with T. I hope everyone is doing good. The election day is 5 days away, so we need to really be prepared as we go in. Some of you have already voted, and I've been hearing some concerns about that as well. Just to make sure when you vote, if you're going in to vote, make sure that when you check, who you're voting for, that you actually, double check it and make sure that it did record who the person you said that you're voting for. So now we're going to dive in. I hope you have your books. We're going to start off with Proposition 55. Okay, and Proposition 55 is the tax extension to fund education and health care. They want to extend the personal income tax increase for those that's making over $250,000 a year. So if you're making more than $250,000 a year, they want to increase the taxes on there, and then the money spent will be used, for the K through 12 schools and community colleges. In certain years, they want to go ahead and use it for health care. Who decide what years those will be? I don't know, but that's how it reads. So kind of just leave it there to just read that in certain years to be used for health care. The fiscal impact, is that it will increase from 4 to 9 billion dollars yearly up until 2013. So what they're asking for is a extension for 12 years. So that means that this will continue to move forward for the next 12 years and will end and I guess come back or whatever decision is made after 2030. Okay. What's unclear in the language, is, it says that in certain years, was kind of unclear to me. And then the second one was, as they continued to talk about it, to know that the extension, we've already got an extension. This is already happening. And they just want to extend it for another 12 years. So you have to decide on if you want to go ahead and continue this for another 12 years. So a yes says that you agree with the 12-year extension, and a no vote just simply say that you don't agree with the 12-year extension. Okay, so we're going to move on to Proposition 56, and that's the cigarette tax fund healthcare, to fund healthcare. Again, this here is another proposal, proposition on the ballot again to tax those individuals that smoke cigarettes. This is again, like I said, we've done it before, and again, this is another way to raise some more capital on those individuals, that smoke cigarettes. They want to increase cigarettes, the cost of a pack of cigarettes to $2 a pack. And they want that's the tax, $2 a pack on taxes, and then other tobacco products, it says equivalent increase. The physical impact, it says, it's to the revenue would be 1 billion to 1.4 billion, for 2017 and 2018, with lower revenues over the following years. So we don't know what that would be. Just know that it'd be lower than the $1 billion revenue that it's going to get for 2017 to 2018. As I probably would just says that it goes to health care, for low income families. It's what it said that the money is going to be used for. And then so it was kind of interesting points that was brought to me. It says one is like, the coming years the revenue would be less. So we go ahead now and say, oh, well, it looks good now, but in coming years, the revenue will be a lot less. And then the other one is the use of the word primarily. So it's saying that the funds primarily will be used to go towards, health care. So I mean, you have to kind of figure out what do they mean when they say primarily. So that's something to think about. And then also, that we just on the ballot is, Proposition 52, and that proposition, is that the hospital fees, and that money is supposed to be used, for, low income families, for health care. So we have something on the ballot already to kind of address that if it passes. Um, so a yes vote says that you agree with taxing, this segment of the population, and then a no vote says that you don't agree with taxing, this segment of the population. And it's just interesting how we go about and just use just this one group of individuals, to tax them. I mean, we've been taxing cigarettes and taxing cigarettes and taxing cigarettes, and then here we go taxing cigarette again. I just feel that if we want to go about and make a change to says, oh, we want children, we don't want them to smoke, kids ain't smoking. Okay, they can't buy cigarettes. Why not just try an approach where you just increase, the age for buying tobacco from 18 to 21 years of age. You need to be 21 years of age to buy alcohol, make it 21 years of age to purchase tobacco products, and then see how that works. But to just tax a certain population, a group of people, just because of their habit, I don't know. So that's a decision that you have to decide within yourself as you go to vote on this particular proposition. Okay, and Proposition 57 is the criminal sentence parole for juvenile. Okay, it allows the parole of juveniles to be of nonviolent offenses. They have nonviolent felony offenses. They're able to get parole, and then able to kind of earn on good behavior. They earn credits. This kind of like you earn credits if you have good behavior. You earn credits if you go to education. I thought they were already doing that, but if you do those things, you earn credits, and then you get out, and then it's going to like rehabilitation, and so you can be to be rehabilitated. The thing here is that the court decides if a person is going to be tried as an adult, not the prosecutor. So it says that if a juvenile get arrested for an offense, that they have to go to the juvenile court first, have a hearing there first, and then it goes ahead, and then they decide at that point if it should be, manded over to, to the adult court. So that's pretty much it. The cost for savings, they say, is tens of millions of dollars for the state, but for the county is a cost. And then so you have to think about that as well moving forward. A yes, say you agree to rehabilitation, and a no says that you don't. Okay, Proposition 59 is the corporate political spending proposition. And this here is basically saying should our legislators be allowed to vote on overturning the Citizens United Act. And the Citizens United is a nonprofit organization with one of its objectives is to educate American public, on the values of having the principled conservative Republican leaders at all levels of government. And they does this. This is done through their advocacy campaigns and the candidate contributions. So this basically is just saying, that they want to not allow individuals, that they want to regulate spending, which it should be. I mean, look where we are now because we don't have regulation on spending, and spend whatever you want, contribute to whatever you want. Churches get involved in politics, and we've already had the separation of church and state, and we want to try to have we don't a thin line now, so the line gets blurred. We don't want the line to be blurred. It was there for a reason, the separation. So if you're a nonprofit, you shouldn't be advocating which political person to vote for, how to vote, and all that kind of stuff. You can give information about it, but you can't really advocate and all that kind of stuff if you receiving, a nonprofit organization receiving funds, and so you have to decide if you want to keep the separation of church and state, or you want to go ahead and say, oh well, any of you can just contribute and stuff. So basically, overall, that's the Citizens, United. And we want to, yes means that you agree that they can go ahead and vote to overturn it, and no says that you don't agree for them to overturn it. Okay. And then so as we looking at the elections, and so the proposition 62, 66, I'm going to do in the next session, and the other two propositions, 50, I think there was 62, 66, and the other two, they're both kind of the same. The one that's dealing with the bags, whether or not you can, purchase, do we want to ban, plastic bags, and the other one is the money, to what to do with the money that they get from that. So those two propositions, and then the other one about the death penalty, since they both were done, you got two of them that one related to the other, and on both of them I'll go ahead and talk about those in the next session, which will be tomorrow. Because I usually said Wednesday and Thursday, but as we get closer to the election, I think I'll go ahead, and if you're watching it here, you'll know when the next one is. So the next one will be tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And we'll be talking about those propositions there. So just make sure that you want to get out and vote. Tell me what you think. I've been looking and see, the comments and the likes, the subscribers. So, tell me what you think, what concerns you may have. If I missed out something, to give me the opportunity to come back later and kind of address those as well. But it's very important, that you vote. Make sure that you vote. So like me, comment, subscribe. And till tomorrow, you have a wonderful day, evening, and night. Goodbye.